Can we stop dancing around it and discuss Superman?
Yes, I mean, we've been talking about this film for, I want to say, the best part of a year now.
Yeah, it's been, as you say, one of probably very few projects that we've covered from kind of inception all the way through
Mm,
till release.
yeah, I mean,
And we both said some things during different stages of development of this.
mm,
But one thing I very vividly remember me saying, and I remember you giving me not a dirty look, a concerned look, was
mhm,
me going, I genuinely think this film can change the world.
yeah, I feel like I remember
And
you saying that, and I've been like,
like,
okay, let's dial it down.
yeah, and but obviously it hasn't fundamentally changed the world. It was a half joke
Well,
comment, but everyone has left that film with this like weird feeling of elation, where the sun is a bit brighter, the air is a bit crisper, and there is just a bit of hope floating around that wasn't there a week ago.
the general consensus that we have seen is everyone has left that film feeling so much more hopeful.
Yeah, yeah.
They were just like, we just got slammed with hope for 2 hours straight, basically. And
Some of the stuff I was saying leading up to this film about what I believed it could be, it would have been completely valid for people to see that and be like, this guy is going to be so disappointed. There is no way the film can get close to that.
mm,
And yet here I am. I'm
yeah,
probably closer to right than a lot of people.
yeah. I mean, I was always optimistic, but I was always like,
Absolutely.
had a certain level of like, I don't think, like, I'm kept my expectations in check, shall we say?
Yeah,
Because
you absolutely tempered your expectations better than me.
I'm sure it's going to be great, but I wasn't expecting like this level of greatness.
I also
Now,
think
oh,
the big thing as well is superhero films for our entire life have had this thing where they are, how can we make it realistic?
yes,
How can we make it feel like this could actually happen in the world? How do we get rid of the silliness of comics? Is like the overarching question, right? And as a result, you get this kind of comment from comic book fans going, it's embarrassed of its source material, which is
yeah,
not an uncommon complaint
yeah,
to hear. This film is not embarrassed of its source material whatsoever,
no,
and it benefits from that so much.
mm-hmm. It's like we said, and like I know you have a very strong. I don't know if the word is like full of hatred for it, but you dislike Man of Steel generally.
See, here's the thing: I think this can sometimes get a bit muddled. I don't hate Man of Steel, but it's not a film that I enjoy, if that makes sense. I
Yeah,
understand what they were trying to do with it, and I don't think they did it badly, but I inherently don't like what they were trying to do.
yeah. So whereas like I've always had been, I thought Man of Steel was, I really enjoyed it. I just think the rest of the DCU kind of went to shit. After watching this Superman, unfortunately, it just makes me realize that was not a Superman film back then. It was. I saw someone made a great. I saw a great comment. It was something like they took. They made a film of like what would happen if Superman actually existed in the world at that time of like, and with our sort of world and the lack of hope that is often in our world. And they made that Superman of Steel. This film was everything that Superman is meant to be. And it actually felt like it came out of it and being like, holy shit, that was a Superman film. Like that was everything you would expect Superman to invoke in you from just watching it. It was
So,
a masterpiece.
having sat on this film for nearly a week now, I think I've kind of distilled why I loved it so much and what I think worked really well about it. The issue we've had is every other superhero film
Mm.
that's kind of kicked off a universe has
Mhm.
been, this is the first person who can do these things ever.
Yes.
And as a result of that, the world up until that point has been the exact same.
Mm.
So when you're writing it, you inherently have to go, what happens if in 2013,
Yeah.
for the first time ever, there is this person who can fly and shoot lasers and is
Mhm.
unstoppable by anything human? And naturally, you would end up probably in a Man of Steel type situation.
Yeah.
The thing I've said for the longest time, and fucking check the VODs, I'm pretty sure I was saying this before James Gunn was even announced as being in charge of DC, let alone before Superman was announced, was that you need to accept that comic book characters are inherently a bit silly.
Mhm.
And you need to let that colour exist and be hopeful and bright. And that's what this film does. And it can do that because in that opening scroll, which is beautiful, the rhythm
Yes.
of it, the modern world has always had people who can do stupid things.
Well, yeah, it
If
was.
since the time of your great great grandmother, there has been dudes who can run faster than a speeding bullet and
Mhm.
jump over tall buildings, it's not that big a deal to you. You've grown up in that world, so it's not weird to you anymore. And it's kind of like what we're seeing, ironically, in this stage of the MCU, like in Ironheart. People are now
Yes.
talking casually about superheroes.
Yes.
Because within the MCU now, you had superheroes for 20 years. So there are a generation of adults who've always had people who
Yeah.
can fly.
Yeah.
Yeah? So we're starting to see the benefit of that in the MCU. Obviously, part of that is due to writing as well, but like logically, we can see the benefit
Yeah.
of that. But in this world, they're like, they've always been here.
Yeah. We're
So
just
it's
jumping
not a
straight
big
into
deal.
it.
Exactly. And as a result, a lot of what would normally be considered a plot hole gets dealt with. Oh,
Mm.
how could they possibly evacuate Metropolis that quickly? Because people in this world know a superhero is eventually going to get in a fight that destroys their city. They have bug
Also,
out bags. They're ready for it.
this we'll just get into this stuff now. The people complain, be like, "Oh, there's no way that they evacuated a city of that many people." Actually, if you pay attention, they just evacuated like one section of the city because the rift, as they realize, oh no, it's going to finally reach where the people are. So it's like, it's not like they just evacuated the entire city. They basically just got people to leave one district and go to another. Like,
it's one of these things where people can suspend their disbelief to go to buy
yes.
a ticket to a film where a man flies and has a dog that flies. Like they can suspend their disbelief that far, but they can't suspend their disbelief that nanometer more to understand that if you lived in like people who live in cities that have earthquakes, like in Los Angeles.
I'll just
Have
deal
you
with it.
ever seen a streamer live in LA during an earthquake? They'll go, "Oh, there's an earthquake," and then they'll just fucking crack on because they have like a sixth sense. They're like, "Oh, that's a big one. I need to
Yeah.
go do my safety things," or they'll be like, "Ash, a little tremor, we're fine." It would. I know it sounds ridiculous because we don't live in that world, but eventually, you will understand that. Okay, cool. I live in Metropolis.
Well,
We
I
have
mean,
superheroes here who fight big kaiju monsters.
part of that is
Eventually,
the
I'm gonna
fact that
have to evacuate.
there's a whole built-in tannoy system into the city to tell people to
Exactly.
evacuate. It's clearly not the
Yeah.
first time this has happened. Maybe on this scale it was, but yeah, that stuff I think people need to just get a grip. I feel
It's
like,
normal in this world.
so obviously you came out and you gave this 10 out of 10.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
I
Which I did agonise over a little bit. I think, similar to you, I was like, it feels weird to give anything a 10.
well, I was like, I couldn't give it a 10 because there's a couple of little things that maybe irritated, not like, but they weren't like massive things. They were just like, And that just, I'm like, because there was those things, I'm like, it wasn't perfect, so I can't give it a 10.
Okay, that's completely fair. Whereas I think I was the other way. I sat there, I was like, oh, there. Like, I like, as crazy as it sounds, something I love this much, I was sat there going for like a negative marking approach. Like, okay, can I take any points off here? Where do I feel like it could have done better? I'm like, No, they fucking smashed it. This is exactly what I wanted. Like, as stupid as it sounds, based on like the way I talked about what I wanted this film to be for the last year, this is as close to what I was imagining in my head that I could possibly expect people I've never spoken to put on a big screen.
I think so. For me, it was like it dropped. In our grouping, I would have put 9.5, but we were not doing points, so I put a 9.
No,
but
we're not doing 0.5.
It would really, realistically, it's like a 9.5 for me. It's like almost there. I think the couple of things for me to get them out of the way. Slightly a bit on pacing, felt very quick in a couple of places. Just I think and I think that was partly because of there was a lot of side characters, and I think early on we kind of got thrown into so many different things with those. It maybe moved a bit quick in places, but that I'm like, overall I still really enjoyed. Like, I didn't overly feel like there was a pacing issue. The other things is like a couple of places I think James Gunn's humor kind of hit that bit too far level. Like there was a couple of like, I'm trying to remember the exact, the joke with the garage door.
The slow garage door.
Yeah, I was like, it's funny, but I'm like, you kind of going to that end of the comedy spectre where James Gunn kind of pushed it a little bit. And then
that's completely valid.
The only scene that kind of I was like, why did we get this? Was the slow-mo celebration in the Mr. Terrific ship when the Daily Planet lot are in the ship and they're all like slow-mo jumping around, and we just get a close-up on a certain character's lady who is clearly for the slow-mo. We all know why that shot was there. That's the only thing I'm like, things like that I'm like, did we need this? Really?
So you think most of your issues would have been solved with like cutting 30 seconds of the film or reusing that 30 seconds to just smooth some transitions out?
Well, yeah, it's like, yeah, take that scene out and use the time and like add maybe like 5 or 10 minutes onto the whole runtime, and it would have maybe smoothed out a lot of the things.
So
but yeah, it is really small
I don't disagree
things.
with your gate or the slow-mo too much too. I don't disagree with them. The slow gate I think is absolutely my kind of humor. To me, that's very much a Family Guy bit where like the trick with that bit for me is the slow bit is funny, and then refusing to cut away from it, it gets a little bit annoying, and then by committing to waiting for it to go the whole way, it becomes funny again because you're like, this is fucking ridiculous. But that's a humor thing. Some people aren't gonna like it, and that is the nature of art. Pacing wise, I do slightly disagree, but only because of the way they told the story. Start to finish, this story takes place over like 3 days.
Well, yeah.
And I think because it's such a condensed time frame for the events, it feeling a bit hectic makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, if James Gunn comes out tomorrow and confirms that the events of the film took place over 3 weeks, instantly I agree with you. I'm like, okay, that felt way too hectic, because in my head, this took place over 2 or 3 days. So if it did in fact take a place over a longer period than that, then yeah, you've shoehorned a bit too much in and you've made it a bit hectic. But I think the idea is to show how fast everything's happening, is to build that tension a little bit. But I that's not an uncommon complaint I've heard, where some people felt it was a bit uncontrollable at times. I personally quite liked it. I felt it made it quite human, because in the real world things don't follow a nice schedule. Things kind of happen to you.
It can also maybe be like, I'm thinking it's like, this is, like we said earlier, this is the first time where we're jumping into a world where all this shit's already existed. And I think that's a little bit jarring of like, we're used to the slow drip in of being introduced things, whereas this, we're just jumping straight in the deep end, and it's like we're trying to get to grips with it
When
quick
was the
enough.
last time we had any film, let alone a comic book film, where we jump into the superhero losing the first fight? Because
Yeah.
that's the trope, right? The superhero discovers the dastardly plot. They fight the bad guy straight away. Like, think Power Rangers, right? Bad guy. Power Rangers go fight the bad guy, they get their butt kicked. They go away, they learn a lesson, they come back, then they win the second fight. Episode ends. 28 minutes. Make 30 million of them, and you're going to just print money.
Yeah.
Like, that is what we all grew up with for a good guy, bad guy story. So, it is a bit weird for us to drop into the middle of the first fight.
Yeah, though I really liked that. Like I
loved it.
I loved the opening thing of it being like metahumans arrived 3 centuries ago. 30 years ago, Superman arrived. 3 years ago, he became Superman. 3 months ago.
No, there was no 3 months.
Oh no, there wasn't. It was
the next one was 3 weeks.
3 weeks ago, Ultraman.
The invasion.
Oh yeah. Then it was 3 days ago, Ultraman.
Days ago,
appeared.
The Hammer of Baravia started making threats or whatever, and then 3 hours ago he kicked his ass.
Yeah, 3 hours ago
arrived,
and then 3 minutes ago he lost his first fight. And then
such a good cold open.
It is, and then obviously we're straight into Fortress of Solitude, which was sick.
Yeah. The big thing that kind of stood out to me with that, and I don't know if this is something that I understand why for some people that feels like a really jarring entry to the film, and it's so different to anything most people would have ever seen in film, because that's not how films work.
Well, yeah.
It's not. But to me, it felt like just going into a comic book and picking up the newest issue, because stories like this would take place over 3 or 4 issues.
Yeah.
So this feels like you've missed the first issue where he goes and stops the invasion, and at the end of the first issue, you see him get fucking punched by the hammer, and then they're like, tune in next week, and then you pick up the next comic, and that's him being rescued by Krypton. That's genuinely how, on like a storyboard, I would imagine them writing the comic, and then on the screen they've gone, right, so we can cover them first 2 in a little scroll.
Yeah, it also feels...
You're good to go.
I agree. It feels very comic book-esque. Of like, you open a comic book, the first panel is literally those things, because they know some people, this will be the first comic they pick up. So like, how do we get everyone up to speed to where this Superman is at currently in the series? So yeah, I think it worked perfectly for what we wanted.
The closest analog that like the layman would have experienced, this is going to be a bit of British culture for anyone who's not in England. You might struggle here. Try your best. If we were to finish this right now and go watch an episode of Emmerdale or Coronation Street or EastEnders or whatever one's on tonight, that first episode, you'd be like, right,
the fuck is going on?
Who's who?
Yeah.
Yeah. You would just be a bit like, right, who are you? Who are you?
Yeah.
But if you were to watch any of them shows every night for a week, you know exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
It followed that same idea of, okay, but do we need to know how Superman grew up? We know he grew up in Kansas. Everyone knows that he grew up on a farm. I would hazard a guess that most people on planet Earth knew he grew up in Smallville, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
We know he works at the Daily Planet, but we're going to see him at the Daily Planet, so that's fine. Lois Lane is there. I also called that bit, but we'll get into all the stuff I got right in a bit. And we're going to see that. So what do we need to know to start this? Everyone knows Superman. Like, don't get me wrong, you can't do this kind of cold start with lesser known heroes. But Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, Wonder Woman, the Fantastic Four to an extent, you can absolutely just go, right, you know these characters, here's them punching shit straight away. And it makes the world feel so lived in. It doesn't feel like the world's been waiting for us, the viewer, to observe it for something to happen. Shit's been happening. There are people living in Metropolis who've been dealing with this shit every day for years. We're, just like the Watcher, just peering in to watch this episode.
Well, this is the thing, like, James Gunn, for the whole run up to this was constantly reiterated. He doesn't want to do origin stories. This is going to be a world that has already been going on, and we're jumping into it. And it's like, this is perfect. Like in the first opening thing, he's basically gone, this is what I've been saying. Look, this is a world that's like, jump in and get used to it, because this is it. Like, there is no easing into this. And like, it helps, I think, especially if we're going forward, it set that tone straight away of what this world is. So everyone knows, okay, the DCU has lived in. Like,
and do you know what else I think this could help with?
The
feeling of homework. Say the DCU is incredibly successful like the MCU and lasts for 15 years. The universe being set up in a way where you just jump in for stories and actually you don't see everything that happens constantly means if you miss something, when you're watching the next film and they mention it, you can say to yourself, oh, we probably just didn't see that, and your brain will just skip over it and not feel like it's actually missed anything.
Yeah.
And then if you do go back and watch it, you'll be like, holy fuck, they mentioned this. And it'll be, if they do it right, I feel like that makes it much less daunting. Because if you do just, like, say you love this Superman film, but you don't give a fuck about The Flash, Heathen, or Green Lanterns, or Batman, or whatever, you just want to watch Superman.
Yeah.
And then you see Superman appear in a Justice League film, or Superman 2, or whatever, and you're like, oh, I want to watch that one. Well, the first time you watched Superman, you didn't know what happened before or what's going to happen after. You were just there to watch that moment. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah,
I think this could be good for like people realizing that they don't have to see every second of a character's life to understand why a character is the way they are.
Yeah, agreed.
And I could rant and rave about this film for literally 10 hours.
I mean,
I have. There's so many good things.
David Cornsworth was so good as
this
Superman.
Film's castings from top to bottom
were
superb. Rachel Brosnan as Lois Lane,
such an incredible job.
Amazing. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor is inspired.
Yep.
You know my feeling on like the way people act about Hugh Jackman and Robert Downey Jr. and how actually these characters don't belong to an actor. They are characters, and we need to actually get away from this idea of they were perfect. No one else will ever be as good as them. And I'm not saying no one will ever be as good as Nicholas Hoult, but what I am saying is Nicholas Hoult is the best I've seen. Holy fuck, he got it. He understood it with every fibre of his being.
Yeah, he did. And I mean, David Cornsworth understood, like when you watched him being Clark Kent, his ability to like sell that is fucking wild. Like you could tell that he was so focused on like being a bumbling idiot, but he knows he is playing someone who isn't got super strength. So they're being very careful not to actually bump into people, but playing it so like loose and goofy so that whatever, the costume design of having like the oversized suits and stuff, and like he just sold that version, like sold Clark Kent so well, even though we know he is Superman.
It's so there's always been one of two ways to go with like how do you make Clark Kent not be Superman?
Yeah.
You got the first more traditional option, which is the way Christopher Reeve went, which is he physically makes himself smaller. He slouches, he talks quieter, he literally drifts into the background.
Yeah.
And then the other way to do it is you make yourself the center of attention inadvertently.
Yeah.
Because no one sees this man, this beacon of hope saving the city, flying around and fighting monsters and saving squirrels, and then look at a guy who's knocked his coffee cup over 3 times in 20 minutes and made loud, big noises and goes, oh yeah, that's the same dude. No one does it.
No.
And they're very different ways of doing it, but they accomplish the same thing. And I enjoy that they decided to go with this approach rather than trying to recreate what Reeve did.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if anyone can do it as well as Reeve did. But
I do think he pulled
so well.
some of like the mannerisms with like voice and stuff.
Yeah, but interestingly, people noticed that people did some apparently his voice is deeper as Clark.
Oh.
But he talks a bit more fast paced, which kind of gives the illusion of it being different. But his voice is actually deeper as Clark, and he talks slower and more calm as Superman. He's more like controlled in his words.
Yeah. I get what you mean.
It's phenomenal, top to bottom. I loved every second of it. Now, the things that I called.
Okay, yeah, sure. Let's go.
I called from the first teaser trailer that Lois and Clark were already together, but they were dating in secret. I pointed out that when we see them in the Daily Planet in that first teaser, they're wearing the same clothes we see later on when they're in her apartment. I'm like, that's the same day, but they're acting like they hardly know each other at the Daily Planet. They're dating in secret. Well, which A, shows that they nailed that vibe and like it was completely believable.
Yeah, they were acting like colleagues who obviously know each other well enough at work, but yeah, not giving off. What I thought was great, and this is like jumping around a bit towards the end of the film, but when Lois is like, "Can I have an interview, Superman, after the final fight?" And he's like, "Yeah, certainly." And they disappear into the arcade, and then the rest of the Daily Planet crew are just like, "So how long have they been banging?" Like, even they know that she's secretly dating someone, and they already know it's Superman. Yeah, but they have no clue that it's obviously Clark Kent.
I really enjoy the idea that she's trying to keep it a secret. She's dating Clark Kent, and everyone else has worked out she's dating Superman. Yeah, hilarious.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Lois as a reporter in this.
Yeah, her like investigative like journalism that they sort of showcased was so well done.
And I also kind of really enjoyed her calling out Clark for kind of unethical reporting. It's like, it's completely unethical for you to be writing the reports where you know the answers already.
And then you already know the questions and everything. Like,
yeah. And you can write it and you can sit there for 40 minutes deciding how to make it sound best.
The back and forth interview that they did in her apartment when he was like, obviously, he was like, "Yeah, you can interview you, Superman." I loved the moments of where like he forgets that it's an interview, like an official interview, and gets a bit too into this is a conversation just between us, and says something that then it's like, she's like, "You can't say that in the interview. You've got to tell me to stop the tape. Like, I'd missed that," or whatever. And then he does it to her as well. Like, they way that they showed their relationship of like losing when it was an actual like trying to be an official interview into just couple having a bit of a back and forth was so well done.
It's really good, and it shows it was a really, especially with how early in the film was, it was really humanizing of Superman very quickly.
Yes.
Because there is not a single person, I imagine, who was watching that film who disagrees with Superman turning up and saving them children and international relations be damned. But at the same time, we are all kind of sat there going, she's kind of right, Clark. You might not have meant to be there as an official representative of America, but that's how it could be seen. Well, and I kind of felt the frustration from both characters. Lois is like, I get you're doing what you think is best, but you need to think about how it looks to the rest of people. But I also know if I had the ability to do that, I wouldn't be sat there going, "Can someone please give me permission to go stop that little child from being murdered? Thanks."
We got Lois from Lois being in a relationship with Clark/Superman, fully understands why he did it and understands him as a person, and like that's why she probably is like in a relationship with him, and that she knows why he did it, but then she's able to play the reporter and be impartial and point out those like, look, this is how other people are going to question you on it and the points of view other people have, because from an outside party, this is how it looks. Just because I know why you did it, and obviously you know you're like, you're not wrong for why you did it. Yeah, that whole thing was great. In that interview as well, like you say, very early on, it cements straight away to the viewer what sort of Superman this is, his morals, which we talked about on the run up to the film, being like, our hope was that they really get across that he's just, all he cares about is doing good for the sake of doing the right thing. That is what Superman's like moral compass is. I can save them, why wouldn't I? And they like nailed getting that message across straight away. That obviously then sets up the rest of the film.
Yeah, and like we see that message repeated later on when Lex releases the Kaiju to distract him.
Yes.
And he's trying to like redirect it and keep people safe. And then the Justice Gang turn up. Yeah. Then the Justice Gang turn up and start attacking the thing like it's a monster. He's like, whoa, 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 why are you trying to kill it? Let's just get it somewhere safe. And then we can either rehome it or if we really have to, euthanize it peacefully, whatever. But we don't need to just go out all guns blazing. And that's it, right? It's preservation of life. It's I want to protect everyone.
Yes.
I want to keep everyone safe.
Yes. I mean, even at the end when he like finally gets Lex and like he barges in and he's like, you're done, and he has the whole little thing. He's like, even in that moment, he could just beat the shit out of him for everything that he's just done to the world. But he's like, you're going to go to prison. He doesn't do it, but then Krypto comes in and absolutely rags him around, which was great.
It's one of these things, right, where the film does a great job of saying to you as the viewer, Superman is not inherently better than you because he has powers. Yeah? At no point is it like, he has powers and that's why he's better than you as a normal, boring human. It goes, he does the things that as people we all wish we could do to right wrongs.
Yeah.
The difference is he doesn't think he's judge, jury, and executioner. He protects people. He stops bad things from happening. And then he lets people sort it out once cooler heads have prevailed.
Mm-hmm.
He goes in, he stops things getting worse as best he can, and then he leaves. He's there to make sure Lex doesn't escape justice, but then he hands him over to the criminal justice system to deal with. Because that's his thing. I've stopped you from destroying the world. I've stopped you from hurting more people, and I've stopped you escaping justice. That's it. It's not up to me as Superman to punish you myself.
Which then I feel like in that final moment when he gets Lex, the performance, like you can see on Lex's face, the moment he goes from like, you annoy me and like I don't like you, to like you can see a shift of like, this is pure hatred going forward now, and I am so ready to prove the world that you are not this person.
So this scene had my favourite bit of acting that I've not seen anyone else mention. And I don't know if it was a deliberate decision or if it was lucky. I'm going to choose to believe it was deliberate.
Okay.
When they're in that room and it's kind of over, obviously all the news reports come on talking about how Lex has done all these bad things.
Mm-hmm.
Lex is just seething, listening. When the newscasters apologise to Superman is when he starts to cry. Because he is not upset that he's been found out to be a piece of shit. He is upset that they believe in Superman again. And that perfectly encapsulates Lex.
Yeah.
This idea of, I don't need them to love me, I just need them to hate you.
Yeah. I think I hadn't quite pieced when it was with the new stuff.
The first time you see a tear roll is
I'd seen that,
they go,
and I was
I'm
like,
so sorry, Superman.
I'd read that as like, oh, he is seething now, that like this is his life goal going forward, to prove that Superman is not this person that they all think he is. Should we talk about the person you were most hyped for with their outfit, who absolutely, in my opinion, had the best fight scene of the whole film? Mr. Terrific.
I'm sorry. God damn, Mr. Terrific.
God damn, Mr. Terrific.
So we did a character profile on Mr. Terrific fucking ages ago. I said he's a really cool character.
I didn't know him.
He seems like a James Gunn kind of character. I'm curious to see how they use him. Then we saw the costume. We saw the jacket. and I was like, this looks really good. I'm excited to see what we get here.
Mm-hmm.
And my favourite thing is, obviously, I know a bit more than the layman when it comes to Mr. Terrific. I'm not Mr. Terrific know-it-all, but
Yep.
I understand the character a bit more than the general audience would.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing him sit up in the tech chair for like a good portion, I'm like, okay. And then you get to this fight scene where you get to see him throw some haymakers. I'm like, now people are realizing he isn't just a dude in a chair with the cool gadgets. This man will throw down when he needs to. Phenomenal.
Well, that was the
great.
thing. It was like, obviously, the first couple of fights and things going on, you see him with his chair, or like he gets knocked out of it, and you're like, oh, well, he's like the tech guy, needs all the extra tech or something. Obviously knew about his orbs and that. But when we got to them tracking Superman, him and Lois, and then the 5 years time, what a banger song. Like in the cinema when that came on, I was like, holy shit, this is just taking me back. Like that song coming on to then cue up the most badass fight from him, of him, like you say, him throwing haymakers, him just like swagging around with his little T-balls, just destroying everybody with not a care in the world. And I loved how it was like one long shot just circling, following him. Was just so well shot and put together. In that moment, I was like, this guy is so fucking cool. We need him more.
Absolutely. For people who want more, the recommendation I'm seeing from a lot of Mr. Terrific super fans is to pick up The Terrifics, which is a graphic novel about him and his side characters, which is apparently very popular. I have no doubt in my mind. I don't think they're going for synergy over at DC, but if they see Mr. Terrific has had a great reception from a film, there is a real chance they also have a comic ready to go about the character. So if you want more of the character, now is always the time.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that stood out to me was that all of the characters felt very flushed out no matter how little time we had with them. Hawk Girl, you get it. She's a warrior. She's there to fight for what is right. Guy Gardner is a space cop. Everyone is like Guy Gardner. I feel like is weirdly kind of famous, even amongst people who don't know the Lanterns that well, because of his haircut and his vibe. They're like, that's like the Blue Lives Matter Green Lantern, like that. That's kind of, and they're like, he's a bit of a dick, but he does mean well, and that comes across brilliantly.
Yeah, it does.
Nathan Fillion was phenomenal. He got the vibe spectacularly. And while I understand that there was some concerns about, okay, why are we shoehorning in so many characters here? The Justice Gang serve this pivotal role of, they're there as like a corporate superhero team, which means they can't get involved in political matters.
Yeah.
But Superman as a beacon of hope and inspiration is so powerful that Guy Gardner, the kind of, still a superhero, but antithesis of Superman in a lot of ways, kind of goes, fuck this, we have to go help them people, because that's what he would do.
Yeah, he's like, I took an oath that he kind of like, I took an oath, I need to remember that. Like,
yeah, and it's so good.
The fucking the flipping off the tanks was so fucking good.
Yes, it was brilliant. I will say I'm pretty proud of myself. I did not cry, I did tear up at a couple of bits. I thought early on it was going to get me by the end. I was like, there's a real chance this film manages to get me. I thought the execution of the civilian was going to get me, but I think it was so shocking with them kind of cutting off, because like it's Russian roulette. You assume we're going to build tension through all of them, and I think them cutting it short actually stopped me tearing up.
Yeah,
because it was such a shock.
Yeah. They went, we're going to shock everyone now. And also at the same time, we're really going to make you hate Lex.
Yes, and it was brilliant. And it's beautiful and tragic because the character's there and he's like, Superman, don't tell him a damn thing. Bearing in mind that Lex has turned most of the world against Superman at this point with the released audio tape, which we will discuss in a minute. the entire world basically turned against him. He feels incredibly alone. Superman. And then this guy's like, let him fucking kill me, Superman. You're more important. It was an honor you ate my food. Don't tell him a damn thing. No one will miss me.
Yeah, I have no family, which we later found out he did.
Yeah. And it's this terrible thing, right? Because I'm not saying you should advocate for your own death if you're ever in that situation. But there's this weird thing where Superman inspires us all to be such a bigger part of something than ourselves that he's like, whatever's going on right now is so serious. I'm willing to.
Yeah.
I don't know what the information this guy fucking wants. Like, I don't know how important that information is, but I'm not going to let my life be the bargaining chip that gives this clearly evil dude the information he needs. I believe in Superman above all else. And that moment ends up being so powerful because it inspires Metamorpho to kind of go, holy fuck, I do have free will. Yeah. It might go wrong and I might die for it, but I'd rather die on the right side. And by osmosis, you have Superman inspiring Metamorpho. Because this person who has no ability to fight back at all is so inspired by Superman that he's willing to die. And then Metamorpho kind of has this moment where it's like, I'm so powerful, yet I'm powerless. I can choose to use what I have to fight the good fight. And that is literally the thesis of this film summed up. It's like, you don't need to be able to fly or shoot lasers. You just need to go, what can I do to make the world a little bit better, and do that. And if we all do that, the world will get a lot better a lot quicker. It's phenomenal. The big controversial change is the Jor-El audio tape.
Yes, so I've seen this, and I've already seen theories.
So, traditionally, the idea is Jor-El has got Superman to Earth safely because Krypton's blowing up, and he just goes, the House of El is a great family, so he's like, do the best you can, inspire them. We think because of Earth's yellow sun, you're going to have phenomenal powers. Use them powers to help the people there and do the good work. Which I do quite like. This film flips that on its head.
Yes.
And it has the first half of the message, which kind of is in that direction. But he never hears the second half of the message because the ship was damaged in transit, so the second half is unrecoverable.
Yeah, well, he just presumes I don't need to try and fix it or try to fix the message because I already know in my heart what the rest of that message is. I don't need to know.
And then, as a major plot point, once Lex breaks into the Fortress of Solitude, the engineer manages to recover the rest of the message. And then it turns out that they're basically sending him there to make it a new Krypton. Be the leader. You're better than them. You're superior to them. You should lead them. A lot of people don't like this. And I do get why. It is very different from traditional Superman mythology. Counterpoint. It leads into the entire idea being you are not what you are made to be, you are what you choose to be. And it comes down to the entire idea of Clark read into the first half of that message because he wanted to do good. In his heart, he wanted to do good.
Yeah.
And that's why he wasn't blindly following the message at any point, because if he was just blindly following the message, the second it went, have multiple wives and rule the land,
he would have been
like, well, fuck that squirrel, like, I'm just going to crack on. Lois, do you have a sister? Do you know what I mean? But he doesn't. He's like, what the fuck? That's not what I thought. And then we get a beautiful heart-to-heart between him and Pa Kent.
Yes.
Where he's like, you do whatever you think is right, but just know, no matter what, I'm fucking proud of you. You're the greatest thing I've ever done. And I'd once again like to say, the idea of the rugged farmer dad being quite emotionally woke, and like he sees his boy who can fly and move planets and catch falling buildings, brought back to his childhood home with kryptonite poisoning, and all he can do is manage to splutter out, is my boy going to be okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking beautiful. Like, that's like, yeah, family is everything. And it shows you that being raised by loving people and choosing to do the right thing is much more powerful than how you are expected to behave by those who came before you. And you have the ability to make them decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get that moment where Cal's just like, yeah, I'm going to do what's fucking right. And it doesn't matter kind of what the message is, because in the end, he was using it almost as positive reinforcement for himself. He'd already decided he wanted to be a hero. That message just, he used that as like, oh, even my birth parents wanted me to be a hero.
Yeah, it's exactly what you say. The message that they're trying to get across is that you are what you want to be. You're not going to just change because, and like, he'd already, in his heart, he was following what he knew was right. The message, like you say, the message just happened to reinforce that. When the message changed, it's like, oh, well, that's not me. And we see that when, the ending of the film is like, he's now got his Earth parents and videos from him being a kid and stuff.
That shit almost got me, because that was beautiful.
Yeah. So, but with the end of this message, the theory I've seen of like, this is like, obviously there's no basis for this. People are just like, maybe this is why it was changed.
Okay.
There's a theory that somewhere along the way with this message, whether it was when he was young or as he was leaving, General Zod corrupted the message. So that with the hope that he would see the full message when he got to Earth and would then follow it because he's so young and like that's all he knows, but obviously didn't plan for this idea that it would get damaged and it wouldn't stop him being this great good person. Obviously there's no basis for this, but I don't hate that as a theory.
I don't hate that theory. I don't think it necessarily adds anything.
No.
Other than an easy setup for Zod. And the beauty of Zod is you don't actually need an easy setup for Zod. You can just have one day Zod arrives on Earth and goes, right,
where the fuck are you?
This is ours now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't dislike the theory, and as like for Superman fans, I understand why they want that to be the case. Because a lot of people like the idea of Clark almost being this kind of Christ-like figure, in he was sent from more powerful beings from very far away to be a savior.
Yeah.
And then he was fortunate enough to be raised by kind people who reinforced that. But of all of the kind of twists to that mythology you can make, the idea that he was sent to be a conqueror,
but his heart still made him a good person.
And the love of the people and him as a person was like, no, these are my people, I'm going to protect them, is beautiful in a completely different way. And what that message can actually be is a great starting point for his and the DCU Batman's relationship. Because while I want them to end up being best friends, and I want World's Finest, and I want them to be the duo, I want Bruce Wayne and Batman to be so skeptical of him for a while that when you then, after 10 years of the DCU, go back and watch them interact for the first time, you get to go, holy fuck, look how far Batman has come. Overall, I cannot say enough good things about this. It is great. It had me... you've got all the memes, right? Like, you've got the gamer meme of, like, when you go down 1-0 and, like, the guy leans forward. And the bit from Top Gun Maverick where the guy in the chair and he's like, yeah. Like, that was... unironically, that was me for 95% of the film. Seeing the Justice Gang turn up in Bolivia to protect the people. Seeing the little kids flying the Superman flag.
That was so
Seeing
good.
Superman in his depowered state in the pocket dimension. I mean, just seeing a fucking pocket dimension was awesome. And the fact that it wasn't treated as they didn't need to spend 20 minutes explaining what it was. She was like, this is a pocket dimension. Instantly I knew what that was, because I'm a nerd. Mr. Terrific explains it to Lois because Lois is a normie. He's like, basically you can squeeze yourself in between the two things. It's dangerous as fuck. Only a lunatic like Lex would do this. You're like, sweet. Not everyone is going to have pocket dimensions. They're incredibly dangerous. Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything was so good. The casting was good. The music was phenomenal. The action was brilliant. It was bright. It was colourful. It was fun. It was everything I've been saying comic book films need to move towards for the last 2.5, 3 years.
I have something that I don't think you predicted this. And I don't
probably
think
not.
either of anyone would have predicted this. And it's the level of game that Jimmy Olsen has.
So I think this might be due to my weaker knowledge on supporting cast of Superman. A lot of mega Superman fans weren't necessarily shocked, but I don't know if this has been like a fan thing for a while, and James Gunn has just like appropriated it to make it law.
Possibly. I just love the fact that.
But Jimmy Olsen having accidental game is my favourite thing ever.
Yeah. The fact that like his
reluctant
source
sex icon is brilliant.
Like it was his source, like he unblocked someone and then you immediately knew like, oh god, he's blocked this person for a reason. Then it's like, oh, this is Lex Luthor's girlfriend, the hot one in the background taking selfies. How the fuck has this happened?
Because a woman sees Jimmy Olsen and just falls madly in love. It was him sat at his desk trying to do work, and he got the two intern girls like, and he's like, rolls his eyes like, again, seriously with this stuff. I've got a job to do, people.
Oh, there was.
Bearing in mind, Perry didn't get a lot of screen time. Perry White. I love that they established he hates being called Chief.
Yes, and like he just in the few bits that he did with the team was great, and I've seen like from that so many people like we need like a Daily Planet show.
Yeah, it's brilliant. My biggest compliments are simply it felt good. It felt right. I didn't find myself questioning too much or going, oh, I wish they would have done this.
No.
And like, it's so easy to just go, oh, I wish they would have found a way to get that in there or get that in. And I was like, you know what? I'm so content with what I've just experienced.
Yeah. Do you know what this did kind of cement? And this is probably still bold to predict this, but coming out of this film, I would put all my money and trust now that we are going to get a Robin. Seeing how well James Gunn has understood Superman as a character, and
he's a bigger Batman fan, self-admitted,
and got that across on screen, and like he really understood Superman at the core. I believe that James Gunn fully understands how important Robin is to Batman, and because of that, we will 100% get a Robin.
I desperately hope that's the case. What I have seen a lot of people rightly discussing is they hope the rumours from the beginning of the DCU that the Brave and the Bold Batman film is going to feature Damian Wayne as Robin. I hope they walk that back, because I don't want there to be such a big age gap between our Batman and our Superman.
I mean, that was so early on, and we've never heard anything again since.
I want a Robin from the get-go. I would be okay with them starting at Jason Todd as the second Robin.
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer to get to see Dick Grayson's Robin. I genuinely think the issue with Robins at this point is A, we've now never had a good one in live action.
No.
And B, people have forgotten what these characters were like as Robins because they've been
older
other characters for so long now. So like, when you think of Nightwing, he's almost like, and I'm getting someone wants to murder me as I'm saying this, he's almost like a Spider-Man-esque character. He's quippy, he's funny, he's acrobatic.
Yeah.
But as Robin, Dick Grayson was an angry little arsehole. And then when you think of an angry little arsehole as a Robin, you think of Jason Todd, because that's what he becomes after getting murdered. Yeah? But when he was Robin, he was bright-eyed, hopeful, irritating little shit because, oh my God, I'm Robin. And, oh my God, you're Superman. This is insane. And if you were to have a bright-eyed, starry Robin, people are going to go, that's Dick Grayson. When actually, as Robin, Dick Grayson wasn't that. And I think that's genuinely the concern we might have here. But I do believe we will get a Robin. And if they can just understand the assignment, I'm so excited. And I'm going to use this as another opportunity to pitch myself as Wally West.
Have you seen this screenshot from the Kaiju fight that shows that Gotham is flooded?
No, I haven't. But I have. I didn't spot it in the film.
No,
I don't know if this is someone.
So I've seen it
doing a little troll.
Well, I've seen it so many times now that I think it is legit. It's like a news report of Gotham has been flooded.
Here's my thing.
Maybe it's a troll. If it is, I'm not against, because obviously people are immediately jumping to the idea of like, oh, is this them bringing in Matt Reeves' Batman? Why does that have to be the case? We know that's in Elseworlds. They can very easily be like, oh, look, parallels across multiverses. This Gotham is also flooded. So be it.
It's one of these ones, right, where I absolutely get people wanting Robert Pattinson's Batman to be in the DCU because he is such a good Batman.
Yeah, but he just doesn't fit
the problem is,
this world.
The canon of that first film is completely against everything we've seen.
Yeah. Which I think I'm confident they're not going to bring them together. Because I think James Gunn will be like, it just doesn't work. Like, there's one thing, Matt Reeves' Batman being visually, tonally different and like this type, but it's another
the way
that
the
like
film looks isn't a problem for me. Is that whole idea of like the parts of the Batman we love, like him pulling his glider for the first time and it being this big bulky thing, but that's too practical and forethinking. This kind of DCU, we're not sat there going, how does the question that I don't want to hear anyone ask about Batman in the DCU is, how did he have that in his utility belt? I want that comic book vibe of, it's always in his utility belt. I need that to be a genuine gag we have.
Yeah, we need like the gadget heavy Batman. I want like a mega looking Gotham of like Gothic structures that's like a bit over the top in its like architecture. Everyone's obviously talking about, are we going to get Batman in trunks because we've had Superman in trunks?
Do you know what I want? If we get this, I will cry of joy. If we get a like blue and grey Batman with a yellow backed bat symbol, I will be so like elated is not even the word. And it's not because I dislike like a all black or a black and grey Batman. It'll just be for the first time, what feels like forever, we will have a visually distinct and interesting Batman that isn't just
all black
body armor with horns and a cape.
Yeah.
Like it has so much potential, and I don't want to run away with it because it is just one film.
Well, yeah, but in James Gunn,
ironically, it's given me a lot of hope.
Yeah, it has. Should we get into what else we've watched this week before we just keep going on and on about?
Is there anything else we need to touch on briefly? I don't think so.
I guess
the Kents were phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, with the Kents, obviously, there's loads of people like, can't wait for Papa Kent to die in the next film, and then everyone's like, that is not a canon event for Superman. We seem to all forget this.
Oh, actually, we'll talk about it now because I'll forget about it later. The actress who plays Ma Kent,
yes,
is on Twitter
Oh my god, great.
She does not have a particularly obvious account. A lot of people weren't convinced it was her for a little while until people did a deep dive on her account and saw her posting photos of her at like events.
Nice.
She is sweet as all hell. Someone just tweeted, "Oh my god, Ma and Pa Kent in this film are amazing. I love them both so much." And she literally quote retweeted it and she went, "Oh, thanks so much. I'm glad you enjoyed the film." She is to be protected at all costs.
Her acting out that scene of being on the phone that is on loudspeaker and then is shouting through the phone just to check up on him is like the epitome of older person that can't do tech. It was so well done.
And just so kind in their heart, and I adore them so much. Oh, actually, there is one more thing I have to mention, because ironically, I've not mentioned it yet, and it is genuinely my favourite fucking line in the film.
Oh.
When they are sat there in the apartment with the imp battle happening in the background.
Oh, yeah. At night.
Gorgeous scene, by the way. Gorgeous. Yeah. Looks visually stunning. But when she asks where he's going at the end and he gets up to go out and he's like, "I have to go look for the dog still. I need to find the dog." And she's like, "Yeah, you have a dog?" He's like, "Yeah, it's not even particularly a good dog, but it's out there and it's alone and it's probably scared. So I need to go find it."
Yeah.
Oh boy, I welled up. I'm like, fuck yeah, you need to go find that dog. It's literally everything.
And isn't that also the scene where we get him say, she's like, "You just see the good in everything," and he's like, maybe that's the most punk rock. The real
punk rock. Yeah. It's, and I know people have been like, "Oh, stop trying to make Superman punk rock." I don't give a fuck. It's great. Yes, it's cheesy as fuck, and I've seen a lot of people like, "Oh, that line is so cringe and cheesy." I'm like, Superman.
Yeah.
The man wears fucking bright red trunks over blue leggings to save cats out of trees when he can literally kiss the sun. Of course he's cheesy as fuck. You get to be cheesy as fuck when no one can touch you. Like, his entire thing is, and like David Cornswear is so great. He's literally talking about, it's like, yeah, the trunks look ridiculous. But in my mind, they look ridiculous because that's how he makes himself approachable and a safe place for kids.
Yeah.
Because if kids see someone dressed stupid like that, hopefully they don't take him too seriously and they don't mind going, "My cat's stuck in a tree, can you help?" Because that's what he wants to do. He wants to help everyone. Yeah. And like, they fucking get it.
Something else. Obviously, the two end post-credit scenes were like small things. They were just...
Yeah.
Love the little scene between him and Mr. Terrific, and he accidentally pisses him off by making a comment about it. It's not perfect. Just before the credits, we get Supergirl. And I fucking love the idea that the dog is hers.
Yeah, and that's why he's such a bad dog.
And Krypton just comes up and is just slamming in the ground and she's just laughing. Fucking loved that. I was also 100% not expecting for us to see Supergirl, so that was like, oh shit, this is cool.
Yeah.
She looks great in that the outfit. So ready for her film to watch her go on drunk benders.
Yeah, it's going to be so good. Supergirl getting drunk and having bar brawls across the galaxy is exactly what I actually need as the second interaction with this universe. I need it so badly. But
yeah,
talking about this film with you for the last hour has cemented in my mind that this film is absolutely a 10 out of 10. I wouldn't change a damn thing. And like, to be as cringe and hope core as the film is, do not walk, do not run, fucking fly to the cinema and see this as soon as you can. It is worth it.
It is everything we could have hoped for the DCU opening. Like, I know we've had Creature Commandos and we've said they've kind of already soft launched DCU, but like, for the first kickoff, they could not have nailed this any better. Like,
we live in a world where Superman is cool again.
The unfortunate thing is we've started at peak, so there's just now the risk of disappointment at any point.
Yeah. That is a genuine concern. Did we start too strong?